in the place. Da-na-na-na, Mac and Perry.
Go life.
Da-na-na-na, Mac and Perry invite you to stay.
Hello, and welcome to Tell a Story Hive on location here in Red Deer. I'm Michael. I make short films and podcasts about environmental sustainability, and this is my co-host,
Daniel J. Perryman, local theatre and filmmaker based in Lethbridge, Alberta, and this is...
Kelvin Christensen. I'm an artist in Red Deer.
Here we go. Yeah. So thanks so much for inviting us into your home and your studio here in Red Deer.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn about yourself as a person and your artistic practice and showcase some of your work. So it's going to be a nice conversation.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. So the first segment we call these icebreakers. So we've got a few little activities we play with people.
Sure.
To get to know you outside of your artistic practice and to get to know each other, and it's nice. So the first one we do was a little trivia. So we prepared some very simple Red Deer trivia.
Right.
How are you at trivia, Kelvin?
Well, I used to be a champion of Trivial Pursuit.
Oh, okay. I've got a pro here. Yeah.
Mind you, that's many years ago.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. And this is Red Deer specific, but it's very simple. And
yeah.
If you've lived here, you'll probably be just fine. So I'll ask the first trivia question.
Sure.
Red Deer trivia question. All right. Let's go back a few years. So the Green Onion, the local water tower, apparently is what it's called. It's officially named the Horton Water Spheroid and was manufactured in 1957. At the time, what was its claim to fame, according to the internet? It was the fastest built water tower, taking only 1 week to construct. That's A. B, it was the tallest water tower in North America back in 1957. C, it had the largest volume of any water tower in Alberta. Or D, it was the first and only water tower to experiment with using onions in its filtration system. Yeah.
I'll say C.
C, the largest volume of any water tower in Alberta. That seems like a very realistic answer. But it was actually B. It was apparently the tallest water tower in North America in 1957.
Really?
That was its claim to fame. So, yeah.
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 It's definitely a landmark.
Right? Yeah. People seem to know it. So I thought that's my trivia question about Red Deer. And we have some trivia questions that we've prepared about Daniel and I for you to ask.
Okay.
How about we have you ask the question about me?
Okay.
Sure, to Daniel.
All right.
We'll see if he can get it right.
Okay. I retired 7 years ago to pursue art making full time. In 2020, Michael also retired from the 9-to-5 to pursue creative endeavors full time. What was his first full paid creative project?
What are my options?
Yeah.
Okay. A, as an actor for the Bow Valley College commercial. B, as a drawing class model at McNally Art Studios. C, as a project lead for TELUS Storehive's podcast edition. And D, as a unicycle juggler for Neighborhood Day on 7th Avenue.
Ooh, after you left that, what was B?
As a drawing class model at McNally Art Studios.
I think I'm gonna go with that one. Is it B?
Nope.
Ah,
It was C, as a
C.
project lead for TELUS Storehive's
Oh, that was your
podcast
first.
edition.
Okay,
Apparently, I had to
nice.
check my taxes this afternoon. What was okay? That was it. Yeah.
Right on.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Tough. I made it tough on him this time.
Yeah.
I always do. So now Daniel has a piece of Red Deer trivia.
Okay.
He's going to ask you, and we'll see if you can get it right.
Okay.
All right. My piece of trivia for you is Red Deer's first outdoor ice rink opened in which year? A, 1850, B, 1898, C, 1900, or D, 1935?
I would say 1900.
1900, C, that is unfortunately not correct. According to the internet, the answer we got was B, 1898.
Really?
The first one. I'd be surprised if it was still there.
Yeah.
Close though. That was close.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Great. All right. And we have one more trivia question. So this one is about Daniel, and I'm going to try to answer.
Okay.
You can ask me.
All right.
I'm ready.
Okay, I focus on the abstract and landscapes in my work. Daniel has a landscape painting from England in his home. Who gifted it to him? A, his mom. B, his mom's best friend. C, his neighbors. or D, his brother?
Wow, that is a good question, Kelvin. Thank you for asking. Yeah, that I'm not picturing that particular piece, and I don't remember that particular story. I know his family a little bit, fairly well. I feel like I'm gonna go. For some reason, I'm gonna go with your brother. Was it your brother who gave you that piece? Was it D?
No, it was his mom.
Ah, that was my second choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, well, that was
Awesome.
tough. Nice, good stuff.
Cool.
Good stuff. Nice. Well, yeah, so trivia, just nice and easy.
Yeah.
Our second activity for the icebreakers we have is called This or That. And so, yeah, we have pieces of paper here that have two things like coffee or tea. And then we'll just ask each other. And yeah, if you're more of a coffee person or a tea person, and might talk about that. And so, yeah, just we're kind of random about your whatever life and stuff, and we all answer. And it's very fun. I will pull the first one. And this one says, they're a little crinkled sometimes. New or familiar? What do you think if you have to choose? Do you like things new or do you like things familiar?
I think I like new.
Yeah.
I like adventure. I like to look forward instead of. I believe in enjoying the moment, but I think I am more of a future kind of person, and I always want to look forward, and move forward, and think forward, and so new is good. New is better.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, nice. Oh, that's great. I'll pass it over to Daniel. Let's see how he feels this afternoon. New or familiar?
I think for myself, I guess the general way that I've taken this question is just being familiar as far as like, being a creature of habit in many ways. So I guess I would stick to that. I'd say familiar for me. I like having things that I go to and that brings me comfort and security. So that's my answer currently. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. And for myself, yeah, I guess I like some new things and new experiences. Sometimes I'm open to that, but I have to say probably, if I'm being honest, I'll be more like Daniel and familiar, and I have kind of maybe routines that I enjoy. So I do like the familiar, and that's okay. There's no wrong answers.
Oh yeah. No.
I like the new, and I love your answer too. All right, we'll get you to pull one out there, Kelvin.
All right.
We will answer. I'll take either three of us.
Okay.
Classic swimmer suntan. So yeah, so I would say for myself, you can go to the mountains, and then they have mountain lakes there, and so I love to go for a dip. Or if I was at a beach, I don't get to a beach too often, but I would probably go for a swim in the ocean, especially. That's always nice. I do love the cold water, and so I would probably do that over just sitting around in the sun, getting a suntan, get all leathery. That would probably be my choice. Yeah, how about you, Kelvin? Swim or suntan?
I would definitely rather suntan.
Yeah. Okay.
I like going for walks around Bower Ponds, which is near where I am, in the summer with my shirt off and shorts.
Oh yeah.
To get the vitamin D
Here we
from
go.
the sun.
There we go.
While you can.
Yeah. Nice. Turn some heads. That's great. Have you ever been anywhere like vacation-y that you were able to go on the beach and suntan and away from or outside of Red Deer maybe?
I've never actually been outside of Canada.
Okay.
But I've been to quite a few lakes and have been on the beaches there, like Sylvan Lake nearby is a great place to suntan.
Nice.
And it's a nice place to swim too. But I'm not a big swimmer.
Okay.
I mean, I can swim.
Sure.
But it's not my thing.
Fair. Yeah. Suntan. That's great. This or that. I'll throw it over to Daniel. Swim or suntan?
I think I would go with swim, just because I think it could be the best of both worlds. I assume if you're swimming, if it's outdoors, that it's relatively nice outside.
Yeah, you're gonna get both.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd go with swim.
Great. All right. I will pick one more, maybe. Yeah, we'll do one last one, then we'll switch it up. I like this one. Time or money? Which would you rather have, Kelvin?
Time.
Time?
Being 72 years old, you come to a place in your life where you realize that you've already spent more time behind you than you have ahead of you. And every moment becomes precious. I tell people that I know that I've only got how many thousands of minutes of life left, and I don't want to waste any of it doing stuff that I don't want to do. That's my attitude about time.
Great. And I understand if you need to leave this interview if you don't want to be here. No, just kidding. Yeah, nice. No, that's great. That is amazing. Yeah. I would, although I'm a few years younger than you, I would say time as well. I think, yeah, I think it obviously you need a certain amount of money to live, of course, but generally it seems like we don't have enough time and we rush around and we're distracted and yeah, I think the money comes, but you can't get the time back. And
that's right.
Yeah. It's always nice to have more time than less usually. So.
Yes.
Yeah. Daniel, time or money?
I will say time very much for the exact same reasons outlined already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Good stuff.
Right on.
Yeah. All right. So we'll move on to our Tumbling Towers game.
Okay.
And yeah, have you played this game before? Tumbling Towers? It's called something else, but we don't.
Yeah, well, many years ago.
Yeah. So it's very simple. We just, the point of the game is to pull out these tiles. There's this one. And then you put it on top, and then it gets taller and taller if you played a long time.
Right.
And then you hope it doesn't fall over. But with these, they all have a number, and that corresponds to just an open-ended question, like, what's your perfect day look like? Or things like that. And so, yeah, we'll play that, and it'll also just help the conversation.
Sure.
So I guess I picked the last paper, so I'll get you to pull the first tile. And you can poke around. It's okay. If there's one that feels loose, pull that out.
There we go.
Yeah, nice. And then put it on top. 49. All right. Let's see what it is. There's 54. There's a lot of them. Ooh, I like this question. What is something you're obsessed with right now?
Art.
Art, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've been, when I first started painting, I was just trying to quit smoking. And I needed something to do with my hands. And I watched a Bob Ross show on PBS, and he said, anybody can do this. So I went to the local art store, got some brushes and paint and a canvas, and I did my very first painting, and it wasn't terrible. So I thought, well, I'll try it, and I was hooked. And I became obsessed with art from then on. And I graduated from doing Bob Ross style up to, I moved from oil to acrylic to watercolor, and now I do all the different mediums. And it's just a never-ending learning process for me, and that's what I love about it. There's always something to learn. I learn something every day. And, it's and I've read recently about studies they've done that show that it's actually very good for your health to be into art in one way or another. And, a lot of artists have lived very long lives. So I'm obsessed with it, and it really, I can't imagine doing anything else. I also play the guitar, which is another obsession, but not quite as much as art.
Okay, all right. So the second place obsession. Nice. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm really excited to learn about in the next segment about your artistic journey and showcase your art. I'll throw it over to Daniel for the Jenga question about what is something you're obsessed with?
I think that one of the things I'm obsessed with lately would probably have to be I've been just getting really back into like health and fitness. And so, yeah, just trying to make a daily practice. Don't have to kill myself working out or anything, but just a daily practice of trying to even just go out for a walk at sunset. And just knowing that can be enough. Because I think I have a habit of maybe pushing myself too far sometimes when really I think I'm looking for more consistency now. So, just health and an active lifestyle. Yeah.
Nice.
How about you, Michael?
Yeah, that's great. Good stuff. What comes to mind for me with this question, I would say right now, like for a little while back, I got into like watching DVDs again. Like a lot of the times, movies have moved to streaming nowadays. And at some point, I had a DVD player. I just don't think I did for a while. And I got back into that, partly because it was just like there was so many. I got the advice of to make filmmaking. Watch the DVD extras. Like there's so many extras on the DVDs to learn about filmmaking, the commentaries, all that stuff. And so now I just and a good place to get DVDs is at the library, at least in Lethbridge. They have DVDs. And so I'll get DVDs. I'll find these like classic films I haven't seen, films I've never heard of, and just like watch those and like watch the DVD extras and try to like immerse myself in that film and get kind of obsessed with that. So yeah,
Cool.
yeah, it's kind of a fun thing.
Awesome.
So, nice. Yeah. Well, let's do one more. I guess because we only got one tile so far, so I did poke this one. Ooh, it's moved now. It's now less loose. I will do number 4. Looks loose.
Okay.
Number 4. Okay, different direction. If you could choose to have any superpower, which would you choose, Kelvin?
Oh, I'd love to be able to fly.
That's a great choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where would you fly to?
Oh man.
Sylvan Lake. Yeah.
No, I would probably try to circumvent the world if I could fly.
Sure. Go big.
You know, around the tropics, and yeah, I would just love to see. I know nowadays we can do it with drones, to get a nice bird's eye view, and I think that gives us a different perspective of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was just thinking about the recent moonshot and the different perspective of Earth from there. But if I could fly, that would be awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah, that would totally be my answer, but I can't take your answer. So if I couldn't fly, because I totally would want to fly. I feel like moving fast would be kind of like flying, so that's not really. I'm just gonna go with, because it's not a real thing, but to like be able to like see like super far, like a hawk, and I could see it kilometers away, and just like I think that'd be pretty awesome. I'd never need glasses, and so that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be neat. I think that'd be fun to have like supervision. I'll throw it over to Daniel if he has any thoughts about some superpower he'd love to have.
Yeah, I think an interesting take on this question is that I love to consider is like a superpower, but that like wouldn't give you tons of responsibility, like wouldn't make you into a superhero. You know what I mean? So like one of the things that came to mind, I'm sure it could have its various applications, but it's like if I could just like heat or cool my hands to like any temperature, it could just be like so useful for different things, but that is not so useful that I would, you know what I mean? Be like a superhero basically. So yeah, be able to like heat and cool my hands, I guess, as much as I want.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and actually I hadn't considered that like realistic, responsibility if you have too much power.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
it's kind of hard to think about like what would give you super, like make you super responsible, and what would not, but would be still fun. Yeah.
Well, one of the things I thought about immediately after the flying thing was I'd like to be able to see into the future, buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
You know.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be convenient too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have time and money.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. All right, well, I guess we'll do one more because it's just a fun exercise. So let's do one more tile. Why not?
Okay.
Whatever loose one. Yeah, just poke around. That looks loose. Great. It's not going to fall over. It probably won't fall over. That was number 7. All right. This will be our last this or that. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you're reading a book right now, but the question is, what are you reading right now or have read recently?
Well, I mostly read books related to art.
Fair. What art book did you read last?
The last book I read on art was, and I can't remember the exact, because it's been a while.
Sure, yeah.
But it was basically it's considered the Bible for landscape painting by John Carlson.
Okay.
I can't remember the title of it, but it's considered, like I say, the Bible for landscape painting. It has all the fundamentals and everything in it, and it's not a very thick book. But I never was into fiction. It just didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
But I've done a lot of reading about things like history. I've got several very thick, heavy books on the Roman Empire and the Greeks, etc. But yeah, and mostly art related stuff. And I mean, if I go on the internet, and I will read a lot on the internet about some of the latest stuff related to art.
Sure. Yeah. I guess it doesn't have to be a book. It doesn't even have to be like a fiction because I don't really see any fiction. But that's great. Yeah, if you're reading art, you're obsessed with it. So
Yep.
That would be to be expected. I guess throw it over to Daniel. Why not? Because I'll end off on it. So, Daniel, is there a book that maybe you brought on the trip that you've been just devouring because we had so much time to be reading while we're traveling?
There is a book. I still have yet to start it, but it is called Into the Wilderness by Brené Brown. I love her work, and it is my goal to start that book before we're done our trip. So yeah, that's my answer.
We've been a little too busy to read.
Yeah, I believe
lots of interviews we've been cramming in. It's been fun. And for myself, I also brought a book on the trip. I got one randomly from the library before I left, and it's called With the End in Sight. And it's about death and dying, palliative care, from a doctor who worked in palliative care.
Mm.
And kind of to your point earlier about time and savoring time. It's something I'm interested in. Again, talking about the Greeks, about Stoicism, and it's like it just interests me. I'm like, what can I learn about that from someone who's been around death a lot? So it's a topic we don't talk about a lot. So I thought I'd like to read about that a bit more.
Yep.
Yeah. So I've been so far enjoying it.
Good.
Great. Yeah. So that's all the time we have for this segment. We're in Red Deer, and this is Tell a Story Hive's On Location. I'm Michael. I make short films and podcasts about environmental sustainability, and sometimes I get the title wrong. And this is Daniel, my co-host.
Yeah, I'm Daniel J. Perryman, a local theater and filmmaker based in Lethbridge, Alberta, and this is...
I'm Kelvin Christensen. I'm a Red Deer artist.
Great. All right, we'll be right back. Welcome to Tell a Story Hive on location here in Red Deer. I'm Michael. I make short films and podcasts about environmental sustainability. And this is my co-host,
Daniel J. Perryman, local theater and filmmaker based in Lethbridge, Alberta. And this is...
Kelvin Christensen, and I am a Red Deer artist.
Great. Thank you so much for doing the icebreaker segment with us. It was really fun to learn about each other and chat about various little things.
Yep.
And this we call kind of the interview, and this is where I really want to learn about, really, you touched on a little bit, like your journey as an artist, a painter, and things like that. We'll just talk about kind of where you started and some milestones and where you're going in the future, maybe. Yeah, we'll have a nice chat. So it'll be good. Yeah, I guess just to start, maybe I know you gave that very brief description at the beginning with our introductions, but yeah, what sort of art do you do, Kelvin?
Well, I paint, and for most of my career, I did landscapes. But in the last 15 years or so, I've gradually moved towards more abstract approaches. And now I really am mostly an abstract artist, but I still do landscapes, and I'll do florals and everything else, but mostly towards the abstract. And I think it's kind of a natural evolution for many artists. They start off doing traditional landscape, and I won't say you get bored with it, but you look for new challenges. And I find abstract, for me, is more challenging, more interesting than traditional landscape painting. And I mean, I still do, like, all my watercolors are basically landscapes. But when I do acrylics or oils, it's mostly abstract and mostly non-representational abstract. But I do some abstract landscapes as well that are kind of a hybrid between the two.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. And I look forward to, we can talk more about, I'm so curious about that transition and the why and all that. But yeah, so if we actually go back, maybe let's go back kind of to far back as you want to go, but I guess, when did you start making art when you were younger?
I was in my early 30s. I mean, I do believe I was kind of born with an artistic bent. I took up the guitar when I was 12 years old and eventually had a band and all that. But I remember when I was in school, I used to doodle all the time. And I would draw boxes and little houses and that sort of thing. Never thought about being an artist. But then when I was in my 30s, early 30s, I was trying to quit smoking, and I saw an episode of Bob Ross's show on painting, and I remember him saying that anybody can do this. So I thought, well, I'll give it a shot. It's something to do with my hands. And I went to the art store, got some supplies, and gave it a shot. And my first painting wasn't great, but it was enough to give me encouragement to move on. And then I continued to paint and got better at it, and got some feedback from some friends and relatives, that sort of thing, that gave me encouragement to move on. And then I became kind of obsessed with it, and I was painting a lot whenever I had the chance, really. And while I got married and raised a family, that kind of pushed it to the side, so I had to do it part-time, with on the kitchen table sort of thing for many, many years. But even at that, I got better and better. And the thing about art, I believe, is it's not so much talent as it is practice. The more you practice, the better you're going to get. And I heard a description one time that said, if you draw a horse, the first time you draw it, it may not even look like a horse. But the 100th time you draw that horse is going to look like that horse. And that's, I think, the principle that I believe in. It's persistence and just continuing to make the effort. And it's a wonderful learning experience, because every time I sit down to do a painting, I learn something about color, composition, etc. And it's just a never-ending journey, really.
No, that's great. Yeah, oh, I love that. There's so much there. I do want to go to the point where you learned to paint through Bob Ross initially. You were painting more. I think that part that really interests me is that maybe we'll call it a turning point of like, you see, you became obsessed with it.
Yes.
And I find that word obsession so interesting because we see it as maybe sometimes a negative thing, but I think it can be a very positive thing. Yeah, so I'm curious if you remember at that time, like, what was it that went from like, I'm interested in this and I would like to do this to like, I'm obsessed with this?
That's a good question. It was probably about 5 years after I first started, and I realized that it had become a compulsion. I had to paint. I mean, there is no question about it. If I had free time, I had to paint. And just the experience of painting is something that you can't understand unless you experience it. It's manipulating the paint, using the brushes, and coming out with a result that doesn't always thrill you, but you can look at it and say, I created this. And when you feel that culmination of a creative effort, it's very satisfying. And I think maybe that's what a person starts to pursue as an obsession, is that satisfaction of the creative effort that you get when you actually have a result from your creative effort. And I think the other thing too is I started seriously pursuing a little bit more education. I took some classes at the college, and then I took an art course through the International Correspondence School, which gave me a really good understanding of the fundamentals of all the various painting genres, and got feedback from certified instructors, et cetera, et cetera. So getting the feedback, I think, was probably what drove me to continue and want to pursue it further, because there's always you always want to be validated. And still today, that's what I'm pursuing, is validation as an artist. And I think that'll continue forever, until, I hope the day I die, I hope I have a brush in my hand. That's my goal anyway.
Yeah, that's a lovely goal.
Yeah.
That's lovely. Well, let's talk a bit more about that. We're kind of in that of your artistic journey. So now you're painting a lot. It's become your obsession. It's a compulsion. You're reaching that kind of maybe limit on your own. So now you've taken those courses and learned those fundamentals. And how would you say, like, those courses through ICS at the time, like, how did that change your artistic practice?
Well, it gave me, I guess, a good grounding. And I just have a theory that if it's with anything, it's with music, with art, with painting, probably with anything, you have to learn the fundamentals first, and then you can expand, and you can expand your knowledge base. But the encouragement I got from my instructors, basically, I did pretty well. I got, good feedback, but I realized that I had a lot to learn, and I wanted to improve. And it's I guess a desire to constantly improve, to get to the point where I feel really good about the result of my paintings. Because one of the things I did experience in the first probably 15 years of my experience was I was never really satisfied with what I was creating. Not that they were terrible, but they could have been better. And I always thought I could have done this differently. I could have done that differently. And the school experience gave me the encouragement to continue to try to improve. And that's really what it's all about. I mean, even today, when I'm trying to make a painting, I want my next painting to be better than anything I've ever done, and the next one to be better than anything I've ever done, and continue down that road. And most of the time it works out, because like I say, if you learn a little bit from each painting, then you can include that in the next one. And I know one of the artists that I've had as a mentor basically says, if you're sitting down to do a painting, and he was talking about landscapes at the time, you have to remember like 250 things if you're going to do it respectively, or if you're going to feel good about it. If you're going to include all the fundamentals and the aspects of the art that need to be considered. I think most people who are not into it don't understand how many things you have to have in your memory bank to actually sit down and put it all together. It's like construction. You construct a painting. That's why one of the reasons I like abstract so much is that it's more ad lib, whereas for a landscape painting, it's more construction oriented, and abstract is more freedom. More ability to ad lib, experiment, try different things, and now I just love experimenting with it.
No, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, because I could see looking at a landscape painting. Yeah, I think even as someone who's like, I'm not a visual artist, you could look at a landscape because it's very like realistic, I would say, and because people think, oh, I know what a landscape looks like, so that looks off or that looks right, or But I could see abstract being more about the images itself or the feelings. So that's interesting. I'm curious about that. Like you mentioned the word like making it better and how you might change things, and I'm just and then you did mention like you have to like know all those like 250 things. I guess the thought that comes to mind is like that's just the idea of like better, like especially in art. Like I don't like it seems kind of like a subjective thing, right? Is that better or worse? I guess how do you define better for yourself in your art?
Yeah. Well, I guess there's a. It used to be I used to strive for technical achievement, and now I don't try to be technically perfect, although I have the fundamentals behind me. But what I try to strive for now is more of an ability to evoke a feeling from people who view it. My goal is for people to enjoy the visual experience of looking at one of my paintings. And it's like I don't know if you're familiar with Kandinsky, who was one of the fathers of abstract art, but he basically invented the idea of visual music. He thought if you can take music and convert it into paint, then you can create an experience for people where they feel it, in their gut and in their feelings. And that's what I really strive to do with my abstract art, is to have enough visual interest and variation, I guess is a way to put it, that people will want to look at it long enough to feel something, whether it's, and I don't do dark paintings. I like to do things that make people feel good. And feeling good can be a very wide variety of things. But I don't like to do dark stuff. I do the occasional, like I do some surrealism too, trying to make a point or trying to be silly. And so depends on the mood I'm in, really. But most of the time I like to just sit down and play with color and see what comes up. Because to me, I think color is everything. On my website, I think I've got a quote about Monet talked about color being his obsession and his torment. Because that's what it is. You're never satisfied totally with all the color combinations that you've used. And you just keep trying to find the right combination that makes sense. I know for myself, I've found 3 or 4 different color combinations that seem to work for me most of the time. But I'm constantly discovering new combinations that at first maybe don't have an appeal to me, but after I've worked with them for a while, then all of a sudden it kind of sinks in. Oh yeah, that does work.
Yeah, and oh, sorry.
No, it's just a constant journey of learning, like I say.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm just curious. I just have to ask: does your obsession ever torture you?
Yes. Oh yeah. I mean, sometimes I sit there and I'll stare at a blank canvas for, an extended period of time before I actually do anything. But it's a constant calling. It's like there's a voice that's calling me. You need to come and paint. You need to pick up the brush. And when I do, I mean, the thing about painting is, and I'm sure it's true of other things, same when I play the guitar, your space that you're in right now. And time is irrelevant. I'll sit down sometimes when I'll go start painting, say at 9 o'clock at night, which is a silly thing to do, but I do that, and then it'll be 3 o'clock in the morning, and I think I've only been there for 5 minutes. That's what I mean by being zoned out, right? And yeah, it's an obsession, an addiction.
Yeah. Like I said, but yeah, that's not always a bad obsession. So it's like a great obsession. I think let's maybe go back to the journey aspect of the conversation. I think where we stopped last was you had taken those courses, you learned the fundamentals, so you've done that, and I guess if you can remember, like kind of what came next in your artistic journey.
Well, I started to get more serious about it, and probably 15 years ago, I decided I needed to be involved with the artistic community in general. So I joined the Red Deer Arts Council, just as a member of the council, and hoping that I could, be involved with some seminars, et cetera, and learn some things. And that was one of the best things I ever did, really, for myself, because it got me in touch with other artists who were in levels of their journey, and so I learned a lot from different people, and I was able to pass on some wisdom that I had gained. And the more involved I got, I seemed to grow. There was growth involved. And eventually I wanted to do some teaching. I actually taught at Michael's for a few years, taught watercolor and acrylic painting, and that was a good experience. And I've been teaching classes since then, here and there, not all the time, but it's something I enjoy doing. I find that if I teach, I learn better. Like the learning seems to sink in more if I teach it. And then not that long ago, a few years ago, I joined the board of directors of the Red Deer Arts Council, and that's been a very significant learning experience. A lot of things have transpired because of the growth of the city. You know, there's been a huge influx of people, and we've had to, the Arts Council's responsibilities have had to expand, and there's, you know, been challenges with that and that sort of thing. And the other thing is that I've tried to move on to making it into a small business, I guess you could call it. I've had to learn, and I'm still learning and just starting to learn. You know, I mean, I've got in my house here, I probably have 700 paintings. I've got to do something with them.
Yeah.
You know, and if I can sell a few here and there at least, then that's good. But you have to learn how to market. You have to learn where to market and that sort of thing. And so I've just dedicated a day a week of my art practice, if you want to call it that, to the business end. And so far it's starting to bear fruit.
Does that come naturally to you, the business side?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No, it's but I think there are, you know, there's help available. Let's put it that way. And once a person learns, again, the fundamental. It's not that I'm not trying to get rich or anything. I just have so many paintings. I mean, I don't want to throw them away. You know, you got to. And but you know, one of the challenges is to get into situations where people can actually see the art. Because if it's sitting in the house and nobody comes to the house, then it's never going to happen. But you know, I've done the open studio tour a couple of times too, and that so people have, you know, have got some circulation there. And I go to some of these art shows, bring my stuff there, and that sort of thing. But you know, and I'm in one of the galleries in town, and etc. So, but that's the next challenge for me, is to pick up the business end a little bit more and see if I can move some of this stuff.
Yeah, and then like you say, you want people to experience it and enjoy it, and they should. So, and I mean, when we arrived here, you gave us a nice tour and showed us around. It was lovely. And I know, yeah, like you said you did that a couple times, but like last year, yeah, you opened your home through the Red Deer Arts Council as an open gallery. Yeah, tell me more about that experience.
Well, it's a wonderful experience for me because people come and they don't really have any expectations, and I don't either, because my experience is that you're not going to sell a lot of art. That's not the idea. But once in a while, somebody, you know, says, "Well, how much is that painting?" Or, you know, they're. But it's nice to get people to come through and see how, also to get some feedback from that come through those studio tours are other artists. But there's also the general public as well. And I've learned some little things to ask from people when they do come, is, you know, like, what's your favorite painting? And tell me why. And then, you know, I can put that in my bank and that sort of thing. But it's just generally, it's being able to communicate with people about art, because that's one of my favorite things too, is to talk to people about art who want to talk about it. Not everybody does, you know, and it can get, I can see sometimes I experience this where you talk to somebody about art for a while and their eyes start to glaze over, and they're, you know, they've got limited interest. But the studio tour helps I think get people the opportunity to see how a studio gallery setup can work. I was reading some stuff out of the States where the home galleries are having a lot of success. And that's what I'm aiming for. I'm not there yet, but I'm aiming for it. Where you basically you use your home as a gallery and a studio, and but you invite people by appointment only, and that way you get people who are interested in art. Because if you go to these a lot of these art fairs and that sort of thing, or to a farmer's market, for example, you know, people are coming not necessarily to look at art or buy art. They're looking to buy something else. And, you know, they might look at your art, they might not. I did a farmer's market a few times, and I made some sales, and but I could tell there were a lot of people who just, you know, they were there to buy vegetables. They weren't there to buy art.
Yeah.
So that's where the Arts Council needs to do some work, is to give more opportunities for people to go to situations where it's all about art. And you know, it's happening, but it's and I suppose being an artist, it's not happening fast enough, but it's gradually happening where the artistic community is growing.
Yeah, I guess like I love that idea of that home studio and gallery put together. And you mentioned briefly because like the artists are coming to you, kind of like they're other artists, but yeah, I guess like what's that like for you as the art maker to have people come to your home to see your art? How does that change that? Aside from just like they're more interested, but how does that change the experience?
Well, it's just you know, I'm more comfortable here, obviously, and I can take more time to explain. If somebody is interested in a piece of art, I can explain what it's all about. It's like I tell them every painting has a story, and you know, if they're interested in a piece of art that I've made, I can tell them a story about it because I made it, and usually there is a story behind it of some sort. And I think that's what people really probably care about more than anything, is the story behind a painting. That includes landscapes as well. But when you have an abstract, you know, a lot of people, when they go to one of these hoity-toity galleries, you know, and they stand in front of a piece of art, and they stand there with, they have no idea what they're supposed to think. But if somebody's there that can explain to them, well, this is what the artist was intending, or you know, was thinking about, and you try to communicate to people that, you know, it's basically all about trying to communicate who you are as a person through your art. And for me right now, I'm all about trying to experiment and grow. And even though I'm an old fella, I still want to experiment and grow and try different things and do new things, you know, see where it takes me. Because I'm not even convinced that I'll only paint forever. I have thought about sculpture, I've thought about ceramics, all kinds of things where I can express my artistic bent. And same with my guitar playing. I mean, it has evolved along with my art over the years.
As you would expect.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I love that. I love your whole mindset around that, just growing and always learning and experimenting. It's lovely.
Well, I believe it's, you know, like I love plants, and the thing about nature is, I think, and I think we're part of nature, is if you're not growing, you're dying. So that's the way I look at it. You know, if I reach a place of stagnation, then I don't think I'm going to last much longer. You know, And I mean, I like his thoughts about trying to be physically healthy, and I strive for that too. I mean, I do a lot of research and stuff on trying to experience the golden years in a healthy way, because I heard it described one time, when you get older, you can, if you stop growing, you're going to decline, and you could spend the last 20 years of your life being sick. That's not what I want. I want to stay up here, and then when the end comes, you just drop off, and that's it. So, and that's mentally as well, and emotionally.
Holding that paintbrush.
Yeah.
That's
That's what I want to be doing.
There we go. Yeah. Well, I think that is all the time we have for that segment, so that we can move on to the showcase, because I really want to see the art, and we can talk about these pieces. And So I really appreciate the conversation, Kelvin.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking us along on that journey. So this has been Tell a Story Hives on location here in Red Deer. I'm Michael Bartz. I make short films and podcasts about environmental sustainability. And this is my co-host,
Daniel J. Perryman, local theatre and filmmaker in Lethbridge, Alberta. And this is
Kelly Christensen, artist.
Here we go. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Tell Us Story Hives on location in Red Deer. My name is Daniel J. Perryman, local theatre and filmmaker based in Lethbridge, Alberta. This is my co-host,
Michael Bartz. I make short films and podcasts about environmental sustainability, and this is
Kelvin Christensen, artist.
Absolutely, Kelvin, Kelly, a bit of both, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I've thoroughly enjoyed your segments with Michael there, the icebreakers, kind of getting to know you outside of your practice, and then the interview and getting to know a bit more about your journey. And yeah, I'm super excited to dive into your showcase segment and actually just kind of see some of your pieces and talk about them and the story behind them. So without further ado, I think we'll dive in. When you gave us a lovely tour when we first got here, this was one of the first pieces that you showed us, and you mentioned that it was one of the first pieces that you actually made. Right?
Actually, the first painting I ever made.
Yeah. And so this would have been when you were like trying to quit smoking? Is this like one of those pieces? Yeah.
Yeah, and it was, I had just finished watching a Bob Ross show with the big brushes and all that stuff. Well, I didn't have the big brushes and stuff.
Yeah.
But what I was trying to do was emulate his use of the palette knife on the mountains.
Right.
And you can tell by my trees, they weren't great. But I did a pretty good job on the little cabin.
Yeah.
And the mountains turned out okay. So it was the start for me. And it was good enough. It encouraged me to go continue on.
Yeah, and I find this so interesting that like you mentioned that the trees aren't great, but like I don't know, the texture, like I feel like it's consistent, and like I think it all adds to it, and I hear that sense of always trying to improve or knowing, being able to see what could be better.
Yeah.
And I think that's really fascinating. Even going way back where you just started.
Well, and the thing was, I'll tell you this, my mother, I was going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
My mother said, "No, you're not."
Yeah.
And she took it and she saved it for years and years and years.
Wow.
And she had it for years before I took it back after she passed away.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
What does that mean? That she saved it. She saw something in it.
Oh yeah. Well, she was very encouraging when I started painting. It was something she thought I should continue to pursue, and so that encouraged me. Yeah.
And would this ever be something that you would sell, or you'll hold on to
Probably not.
this?
I don't think I'd ever sell it.
Yeah. There's kind of sentimental value there.
Yeah. It'll always have a special place in my heart.
Wonderful.
And when I look at it, I can, there's things I did pretty good.
Yeah.
Considering it was the first time I'd tried.
Yeah. Do you think you knew that you were doing them well at the time?
I thought I did the cabin pretty good.
Yeah.
The mountains I was not sure about, but I thought they were okay. And then the trees, when I realized I didn't have the technique down yet.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you just started. And just remind me, what was the technique? Because you kind of came into it. You mentioned in your interview with Michael, like every painting you'll sit down and maybe there's something specific that you're trying to work on. What was the technique for the mountain that you kind of really wanted to emulate?
Using a palette knife.
A palette knife. Okay.
So you take a palette knife and you apply it like icing to a cake, right?
Okay, yeah.
And that's what I was trying to do with the snow areas of the mountains.
Yeah.
And it was a beginning.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And like, what kind of equipment did you have when you started?
I had a palette knife.
Yeah.
And I had about 3 brushes.
Okay.
And probably half a dozen oil colors. And that's what I started with.
Nice. And I know that framing is something that you're also doing, framing your pieces.
Yes.
Was this like an original frame, or has this been a new edition?
I think this is just one of the frames that I bought. It was not very expensive. But I do my own framing, yes.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. Awesome. Well, we'll move swiftly along here. I'm trying to decide what to do next. I think we'll go over to this piece. It says new work on it. And so, I'll just kind of hold it up here. Does this piece have a title? I think it does. Bridge
at Bower Ponds.
At Bower Ponds. What can you tell me about this piece?
Well, Bower Ponds is a very popular park here in Red Deer. and it's got some water features, and now it's got children's playground. There's bike trails, walking trails, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a bridge that goes across. There's a pond, and then under the bridge, and then it goes into another couple of ponds. And so I was trying to capture the bridge and trying to establish, this is what I was thinking. I wanted to get the depth so the trees in the distance would be lighter and grayer in color, and then you move forward. And I wanted to get the reflections in the water, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, it's not perfect, but it is what it is.
You had the thing that you were working on, that idea of depth, and then the reflections in the water, which I think translate. I'm not a visual artist, but I think they translate really well. Yeah. And would you have done this outside, or was this from a picture?
I originally did it outside, and then I enhanced it here in the studio.
Right. Yeah. And what was that? Had you dabbled in like painting outside? Is that?
I've done quite a few actually.
Yeah.
Plein air painting, it's called.
Right.
Yeah. And I want to do more of it. But I actually got myself an outdoor plein air easel that's designed mainly for watercolor.
Okay.
I haven't used it yet, but I'm planning on doing some this summer. There's going to be a number of communities in Alberta are having plein air events.
Oh, nice.
So I want to take part in a couple of those.
Yeah. How do you hear about those?
Well, I'm with the Arts Council, so
okay.
It comes through there, and it's starting to get more generally well known. Plein air has been a big thing in the States for years, and it's becoming much more popular here. It's quite different than painting in a studio because you're right there, and the colors are, the colors are there for you to see. You don't have to try to judge by a photograph, and photographs are often deceptive in terms of color.
Sure, yeah.
And just being outdoors.
Getting that vitamin D.
Yeah.
Nice. Another question I had from this is just like, how do you know when you see a spot and you take in that inspiration? Do you know like right away, or do you have to like see it a few times? Like how many times have you seen this view, I guess, before deciding to actually paint it?
Well, probably quite a few times, I would say. But I mean, it depends. I mean, sometimes if you're on a road trip and you see someplace that you can tell it's going to be a good painting, and the reason you know that is how it would work as a composition, because the foundation of any painting is a good composition, and there are certain rules, I guess you could call them, for composition that apply, and mostly what you're looking for is what they call an architecture. And a lot of times one of the basic architectures is you have a vertical and you have a horizontal, and they intersect at some point.
Okay.
And the idea is you want to draw people into it, and you want to create some depth in your painting. I mean, the whole purpose of even an abstract is to create enough depth so that people experience that sensation of depth.
Yeah. Okay. So in this painting, I mean, again, I'm not a visual artist, but I'm just trying to apply what you're talking about here. So it's like a horizontal could be the bridge. I see vertical. I see both the trees, but like, would you also consider the river?
Yeah. This is a vertical, and then it intersects with the horizontal there.
Oh, so even this bank there, the side is a vertical, and then those all intersect kind of really with the bridge.
Well, if you take the line from the reflections and you go straight up, you can have that straight.
Whoa.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So even with the reflections of these, that kind of, oh my gosh. So you have the verticalness of the trees And then you're basically doubling that with the reflection.
Yeah.
And that can create its own line that uses the entirety of the frame, basically.
Right.
Wow. Okay. I had not even seen that before. That's very cool.
And then the depth is created by having lighter colored trees in the background, and then darker and darker and brighter, more intense color as you come forward.
Totally. Okay. Yeah. That is so cool to kind of see that broken down a little bit. Yeah. And was this a frame of your own making?
No, actually, I bought that at I think a thrift store or something.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
I just thought it was a cool little frame.
Yeah. Nice. The other thing I'd love to touch on is just like pricing our work as artists and as a visual artist. What are your thoughts on that? And I know the business side of it is maybe newer to you, or you're still like growing in that aspect. So what goes into that?
There's formulas. Not everybody uses them, but a lot of people do. And there's one of the formulas is a certain amount per square inch.
Yeah.
So if you're a beginning artist, you might charge, say, $1 per square inch, or even 50 cents per square inch. So a painting of that size, for example, which I think is 8 by 10, if it was $1 per square inch, it would be $80.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But then you get up into the bigger ones, like 16 by 20, then you're looking at $320 if it's $1 per square inch. But you know, the artists who are well-known professionals, they would charge $7, $8 per square inch.
Right. Yeah.
So when you get up into a 30 by 40 inch painting, you're looking at $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
So I mean, and that's one formula. There's a few other ones too, but that's probably the most common.
Okay, very cool. Well, speaking of slightly bigger pieces, I think I might actually move on to this piece. So I'm just gonna pop it over here. We might get visited by a cat, and that would be awesome.
Hi, Zelda.
What can you tell me about this piece?
Well, it started off as basically an abstract, and so I did an abstract background, and I had applied some texture to it. If you can see the texture on it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And what I wanted to do was to create a misty forest. So it's kind of a combination of abstract and landscape. But the main feature from my point of view was to try to get the texture into it and the colors. And I'm a big fan of purples and blues, and you can probably tell by that. And I also used some gold paint on it as well. So those colors are all complementary. And it's on what they call a gallery wrapped canvas.
Okay. Yeah.
Which means it doesn't really need a frame.
Okay. Yeah.
And I like doing a lot of work on that now. Most of my abstracts are actually on that.
Okay. And what's the kind of thought process behind that? Why do you prefer them for abstract works?
Well, it's just the thickness and the fact that they don't have to be framed.
Right.
But some abstracts do need to be framed, but most abstracts can stand alone without a frame if they're on a nice gallery wrap type canvas. You paint the sides
of course,
in a corresponding color. Some people paint all their colors, all these sides black, which is one way to go. I do that on some of them, but not all of them. But I was basically experimenting with texture on this one. And I applied a texturing material and then painted over it.
Yeah. Oh, that's super beautiful. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. There's so many here that I want to get through. So I think we will move swiftly along because I think there's a pretty cool story behind this one. Wow. Let's see if I can place it here nicely. So what can you tell me about this piece?
Well, it's I guess you could call it a surrealist piece. I was just trying to make a point about people being addicted to their phones, and how unhealthy I think that is.
Yeah.
And the idea of the painting is, it's kind of hard to see. I probably could have emphasized these figures more, but they're doing the Heil Hitler to a phone.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And here they're being drawn into this complex. And I guess my thought was, it's kind of similar to, the idea of the Holocaust, where lambs were being led to slaughter.
Right.
And they're saluting these technology.
Yeah.
And then this part of it is they go down the rabbit hole, like we all talk about going down the YouTube rabbit hole.
Totally, yeah.
And so that's what this painting is really all about, is just to point out that, we're being drawn in to this technological space that I'm not sure we're totally designed for and happy with. But most of us can't resist. I mean, most of us are totally addicted to our phones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or dependent on them, at least.
Sure, yeah. And what does it mean to you to, because these are quite large concepts, I guess, to like tackle and to, what does it mean to you to, again, try and create something visually that is going to hold somebody long enough to maybe sit in that feeling that or that thought, that concept, those concepts that you're trying to tackle it? What does that mean?
Well, I think that's what the purpose of being an artist is. You want to communicate something. And if I have a concern like that, I want to do something visually to communicate it.
Right.
And I thought that was one way of doing it. And I mean, it was fun to paint.
Right.
I mean, that's the other thing. But and I'm not big on doing figures. You can probably tell. But good enough to get the point across, right? And I just like to like I have other paintings, surrealist type of paintings that have a similar kind of idea, where they're trying to point out to people that there is a danger of getting too swallowed up by technological change. I mean, AI is another problem that we're looking at. I had a painting, a smaller painting I did a couple of years ago, and I entitled it AI, and it was basically walls like this, and in the middle was a doorway and a robot sort of looking thing in the middle, and it was entitled AI, and it actually wound up on a wall in Paris.
Oh.
So I was pretty impressed with the person who bought that.
Yeah.
And they encouraged me to do more of that sort of thing, and I think I probably am going to lean towards more of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I've done a couple of things related to AI that I haven't really put out there yet, but works in progress.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, just tell me a bit more about that, like having your pieces sold internationally and just what that maybe means to you. What's the feeling?
That means a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, to have one of my paintings hanging in a house in Paris means a lot. There's opportunities to sell internationally, but you got to be careful because there's a lot of scams out there as well.
Sure.
And it's a worldwide market right now because of the internet.
For sure.
But you have to be careful because also there's a lot of scams. Like one of the people that gave me some advice was, if somebody's offering you something, to sell stuff for you or whatever, if they want an upfront fee, forget it. But if they want to do it on commission, fine.
Sure.
Then you can check it out. So it's you just have to be careful. Yeah.
And I have to imagine, like, maybe that's where, that hearing that from a fellow colleague, somebody who also has experience.
Other artists who've been burned.
Yeah.
And some who've had success at the same time. They get burned, and then you don't do that. You do this instead, and then it works. Yeah. And I mean, art is still a hard sell. It's, you can have 100 people come through and look at the art, and maybe one person might express enough interest to open their wallet. Maybe. It's a tough sell.
Yeah, and it's
especially if the economy's not doing well, or there's fear in the economy, like there is right now. It's kind of a hard place to sell right now. But I mean, you have to stick through it.
Yeah, kind of that persistence, and perseverance that you had mentioned. Yeah.
You can't give up. And I mean, I'll paint even if I never sell another piece.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll wind up in a dump somewhere, but I don't care.
Oh, awesome. I think Zelda is in the mood for some pets, and
I
think we are kind of at our time here together. So there's so many more pieces that we could go through, but it's been such a pleasure getting to sit with you and talk about your work and your practice. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This has been Tell Us Story Hives on location in Red Deer. My name is Daniel J. Perryman, local theatre and filmmaker based in Lethbridge, Alberta. This is my co-host,
Michael Bartz. I make short films and podcasts about environmental sustainability. And this is
Kelvin Christensen, a Red Deer artist.
Awesome. Thank you so much for watching.